Hello students, I welcome you all once again. Today in this class, we are learning valence bond theory of complex compounds. In the previous classes, we have learned Werner's theory of coordination compounds, postulates of Werner's theory, and also we have learned how to draw the structures, how to write down the formulae of various complexes according to the postulates of Werner's theory, and evidences we have learned, and also defects of Werner's theory we have learned in the previous classes. You remember students, one of the defects of Werner's theory was it couldn't explain the magnetic behavior of the complexes. Okay, so here the valence bond theory of complex compounds explains the magnetic properties of complex compounds. Not only the magnetic properties of complex compounds, it also explains the shape or structure of complex compounds. Okay, students? So this is valence bond theory of complex compounds, which explains the shape and magnetic properties of complexes. This was proposed by Pauling, P-A-U-L-I-N-G. If we observe the main important features of this theory, they are as follows. Okay, point number 1. Listen carefully students. Point number 1. The bond between metal ion and ligand is purely covalent. Okay. So the bond existing between metal ion and ligand is purely covalent. Okay. Next, point number 2. The central metal atom or ion should possess a number of empty orbitals. Why it should have a number of empty orbitals, students? Because it has to accommodate the electrons which it accepts from the ligands. Okay, the central metal atom or ion, what it should possess, students? It should have a number of empty orbitals. Why? In order to accommodate the electrons which are donated by the ligands. Understood this point, students? Okay, now the number of empty orbitals is equal to the coordination number of central metal atom. Okay, so it should have a number of empty orbitals in order to accommodate the electrons which it accepts from the ligands, and this number of empty orbitals, it is equal to the coordination number of central metal atom. Okay, students, clear? Second point. Next, coming to the third point, the atomic orbitals of the metal ion, S, P or D. Okay, so the s orbitals or p orbitals or d orbitals of the metal ion, they involve in hybridization. Okay, so the atomic orbitals of the metal ion, they involve in hybridization and they produce new orbitals which are oriented in different directions. That means they possess different directional properties. Okay, students. So the s orbitals or the p orbitals or the d orbitals of the metal ion, they are involved in hybridization and they are producing new hybrid orbitals which are oriented in different directions. Okay, these hybrid orbitals, what are they doing, students? They are overlapping with the orbitals of ligands. Okay, so the hybrid orbitals produced by the metal ion, how they are being produced? The atomic orbitals of the metal ion, they involve in hybridization and then they produce new hybrid orbitals. So these hybrid orbitals produced, they overlap with the orbitals of ligands and thus they are forming strong covalent bonds between metal ion and ligand. Have you understood, students, how the strong covalent bond is formed between metal ion and the ligand? Understood? So point number 3 gives us this information. Next, point number 4. The d orbitals which are involved in hybridization, they might be either n-1d or outer nd orbitals. Okay. Now, the complexes formed with these two types of orbitals, so they are given a certain or specific name. So the complexes formed with n-1d orbitals, are called as inner orbital or low spin complexes. Kindly underline this point. The complexes formed with n-1d orbitals are called as, what are they, students? Inner orbital or low spin complexes. And the complexes formed with outer nd orbitals are called as outer orbital or high spin complexes. Okay, students, understood this point? Fourth point. So the d orbitals which are involved in hybridization, they might be either n-1d or nd. So if the complex is being formed with n-1d, it is called as inner orbital or low spin complex. If the complex is being formed with outer nd orbital, then it is called as outer orbital or high spin complex. Clear, students? All these 4 points. Moving on to the next point. Point number 5. Under the influence of strong ligands, for example, CO or Cn-, what happens? The electrons of the metal ion, they are forced up, which is against Hund's rule. Okay. What is happening, students? Under the influence of strong ligands like CO or Cn-, electrons of the metal ion, they are pairing up, which is against Hund's rule. For example, if you take the outermost shell electronic configuration of Fe+2, that is 3d6, the arrangement will be like this. Okay. The same in the presence of weak ligand, there is no change. Okay. Under the influence of weak ligand, it will be like that only. But if you observe in the presence of a strong ligand, there are no single electrons, all are paired up. Okay, students, understood the difference in the electronic configuration of the outermost shell of Fe+2? If it is weak ligand, they are like that only. If it is strong ligand, then the single electrons, they are all paired up. Okay, so that's what the 5th point is. Next, point number 6. What is point number 6, students? If the complex contains single electron, then that complex is said to be paramagnetic. Okay. So I think you know about the paramagnetic nature. So if the complex contains a single electron, then it is said to be paramagnetic. What is the meaning paramagnetic? It is attracted by an external magnetic field. Okay. So when the complex is having single electrons, then it is said to be paramagnetic, which means that it is attracted by an external applied magnetic field. Okay. For example, if the complex contains all the electrons which are paired up, or if the complex contains all paired electrons, then it is said to be diamagnetic. Okay, I think you know the meaning of diamagnetic nature. It means that it is repelled by the external magnetic field. Okay, students, this is point number 6. If the complex contains single electrons, then it is paramagnetic. That is, it is attracted by the external magnetic field. And if the complex contains all paired electrons, then it is said to be diamagnetic in nature, which means that it is repelled by the external magnetic field. Okay, so like that, the VB theory explains the magnetic behavior of the complexes. Okay, students. So these are all the 6 points under valence bond theory of complex compounds. So kindly note down all these points in your notebook. So carefully read point by point. I made it very clear and it is very easy for you to learn all these points under VB theory. Okay, so if you learn these points, then only I can continue with the next topic. Okay, students, am I clear? So read well, practice well, and kindly share with your friends and ask them or tell them to subscribe so that they also will be benefited. And please watch the complete video. Then only the lesson will be clear to you. Okay, thank you, students.